have you on the Camp Jansen team as a winner of the challenge. One of the reasons that I chose you is because while you are not a competitor, you intuitively eat and you have a good background, it looks like, in the gym and with weightlifting and with knowledge of nutrition. And someone like you seems very self-motivated, and that's what will take you from point A to wherever you want to go, no matter what you want to do. If you never want to compete, that's cool. If you want to do a show next year, that's cool. I know that you did mention that you did want to compete next year. Are you thinking a time frame, or when do you see yourself?
I mean, with COVID, there's all sorts of stuff. My friend is doing the Emerald Cup. I don't know if you know the West Coast shows, but Emerald Cup, and she did it a couple of years ago. It was fantastic. So
cool. Did you go see it?
Yeah, I saw it with her.
Okay.
That was really cool. So that one would be a pretty cool one to do. But I know that I have some area to grow before I'm ready to do that.
Yeah.
And I think it would be a really fun opportunity to do that someday. And to have a goal in mind is always kind of nice. You know, I love training. It's something I've done forever, and it's definitely therapy to me. But sometimes it's really cool to have that, like, okay, this is what I'm training for. This is what's driving me here.
Okay, yeah. I mean, so, you know, it reminds me so much of what you just said of me before I started competing, before I got into it, because once I did one, I was like, I can't just do one and stop.
I know.
Yeah, exactly. So I know that you put your goal as build muscle. So have you been building muscle up until this point? Did you just end a mini cut? Because you're pretty lean.
Yeah, I'm pretty lean. Honestly, I just left a really stressful job that didn't allow me to eat very well. I know that Team Jansen is very big on like meal timing and that kind of thing. And I was working these like 13-hour shifts where there was some days that you just couldn't, you know, we never got breaks. So I am kind of like trying to increase my calories intuitively back up. And I'm not opposed to meal plans or macros or whatever. I've eaten a lot of different ways before in the past just to see what works. And intuitive was kind of just because life is hectic, and that worked. And, you know, sometimes it was like, well, I am hungry, but I can't.
Yeah. No, totally.
Yeah.
I think it's great that you can eat intuitively now and have a knowledge, have that background of macros, and have that background of like calorie counting and macro counting and knowing what's in your food, because I did macros and the whole flexible dieting thing for years, and it taught me so much. Like, if I run out of oats, I can have this. Like, if I run out of this protein, I'll use this instead. Like, it teaches you a lot. And like, you know what a serving size looks like in the palm of your hand or on your plate, whatever. So it's good to have that background knowledge. I love flexible dieting for that reason, like just getting a basic understanding of nutrition and just being able to kind of memorize and mentally make account for it's like a bank account, you know what I mean? Like managing your funds, really.
It is.
I think that's really important. So I would essentially, like, when we start off, I don't know, again, voice to me whatever you are concerned about or what you would rather do or not do, but I want to utilize a meal plan so we can see how you respond to what foods, what time of the day, and how digestion works and things like that, because all those things are going to either make or break this journey of yours. So I want to utilize the nutrition timing and maintaining a good just balance of calories, balance of carbohydrates, fats, protein during different times of the day. I want to get to know your schedule when you train, when you do cardio. I noticed that you did do cardio 5 days a week, you said. So what does your cardio schedule look like now?
So I pretty much just do incline walking.
Okay.
After my workouts, usually for a little bit, 20 minutes. And I do have a pretty active job. I get a lot of steps.
Okay. What do you do for work?
I'm a nurse.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So it's pretty active. So it's anywhere from 18 to 20,000 steps a day, which is a lot of steps.
Yeah, I work in a clinic too, so I understand.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like running around all the time. It's hard not to get those. Let's see. So I train at like 5 a.m.
Okay.
3 days a week, and then 10 a.m. the other 3 days.
Okay. Are your 5 a.m. workouts before you have your shifts?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many days a week? Do you do cardio every day after your lift?
No. Sometimes like, probably I'd say 4 or 5.
4 or 5 days a week? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. I'm just making notes.
Yeah.
For myself for later. So, when you go into the gym at 5 in the morning, do you eat something larger at night, or do you eat in the morning before you go in? I know some people are like, oh, I don't want to eat in the morning.
I'm so nauseous when I eat in the morning that's always hard for me. I do eat before I go to bed, though. And that's pretty consistent for whether or not I'm training. I usually eat before bed. Mm-hmm. It hasn't really negatively affected my sleeping. I know for some people it does. But I'm not opposed to moving that around either. Okay.
No, what's your like pre-bed meal, knowing you're going to work out the next morning early like that?
So I usually do like a yogurt bowl, like Greek yogurt, either oatmeal or kamut puffs, rice cakes, peanut butter, that kind of thing.
Awesome. Okay.
Fruit, usually do some like blueberries and things in there as well.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. And then when you work out in the morning at 10, like when you're waking up a little later, do you, I assume you have a meal before that?
Yeah, I generally have like eggs on either toast or rice cakes with avocado and like a veggie scramble sort of thing.
Okay, cool. So you eat pretty clean, like pretty whole foods. You're
pretty
not.
Basic, yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I mean, obviously you're in the shape to where you look like you do, but I can't always assume that.
No, I mean, some people are coming in with like Kodiak cakes with all of the toppings and a Rice Krispie on top. There's nothing wrong with that, but I feel better without that.
No, I've never been able to do that. I have a younger brother who can eat he could eat anything out of a box or a package for the rest of his life and always have a six-pack, but
can't relate.
Yeah, right. So I would like to, incorporate the foods that you eat now that do work with you. It's not like we're going right to just like bro meals. I want you to still enjoy your meals. I want you to enjoy your food. I want to give you what digests well for you, what I know will work with you off the bat. And then we'll make adjustments if necessary. Excuse me. Adjustments if necessary if there's things that need to be kind of moved around, manipulated. I don't think you would need something at 5 a.m. before you train, but if it was possible for us to schedule maybe those mornings where you are training on an empty stomach to the areas of your body that you don't need or you don't necessarily need more muscle that you want to put on, just because when you're trying to build muscle, when you're trying to add tissue, you not only want to be in a surplus, but you want to make sure that you're using those nutrients from that surplus correctly. So on the days that you're planning to work out in the morning, we would have a slower digesting meal, like a lower glycemic carbohydrate meal in the evening. So that's something like your oatmeal. We could do some simple sugars in there, like a little bit of fruit is fine, but I don't want to do like, for example, an acai bowl before bed. You know what I mean? That's going to spice too much. So like, sweet potato is a good one that I'll use before bed a lot of time. But that's like, is that last meal kind of like your sweet tooth meal?
It's definitely my sweet tooth meal. And I know that sweet potatoes are like every bodybuilder's favorite food, but I actually hate them. No.
That's okay. That's okay. All right. We could do plenty of stuff, but so like we could Greek yogurt with the kamut puffs. Those are, I know, slower digesting, and I've actually never tried them because none of my grocery stores have them.
Oh my gosh, girl, you need to get on that. I mean, especially you're like 7.5 weeks out, right?
I'm 6.5 now.
They're pretty
I'll have to ask Mr. Matt about that. Okay, so training, the days we train at 5 a.m., we'll eat something a little bit more voluminous at night with some slower digesting carbs, just so you have something that you're still kind of digesting. You're not going into the gym. You're going to be on an empty stomach in the morning, of course, but you will have had your glycogen stores are still going to be somewhat full, is what I'm saying. And maybe we could do like an intra-workout drink on those days too. And we would maybe train like your I noticed your posterior chain is not as developed as your frontal body parts. Yeah, so like you've got a great shape, and I assume you'd want to compete in bikini.
Yeah, to start, I think so.
Okay, so we'd start with I really want to see your posterior chain come up. So your back, your lats, for sure, your glutes and your hamstrings. And I would want to train, I mean, of course, things are going to happen on different days, whatever, schedules change, but I would like you to have a good meal before you go in for those sessions, because those are the ones we want to make the most of, especially that your goal now is to build that muscle. So I don't want to waste any time on that for you. So your normal breakfast is like the eggs on the toast and like your veggie scramble. What do you eat throughout the day on your, like during your shifts and stuff?
During shifts,
you have, like, how many meals do you think you have?
So probably 4 or 5 meals a day.
4 or 5? Okay.
Yeah.
And are you typically like going to bed pretty hungry, or are you staying somewhat satisfied?
No, I don't really feel super hungry. On days that I work, I tend to be, because I'll often miss a meal, just because it gets busy, which is never ideal. But now that I'm only working 3 days a week, that will be
okay.
So throughout the day, honestly, pretty bro meal. Bro meals. Like turkey, spinach, rice, avocado, protein shake with fruit and banana, peanut butter, oats, yogurt. Sometimes I'll do protein bars, which is not ideal, but kind of addicted to Built bars.
I've never tried those either.
Oh my gosh, they're really good. I'm gonna have to like send you Canute and Built, because
oh my gosh.
oh god. What else do I do? A lot of basic foods.
Okay, well that's fine. Yeah. Is there anything in particular that bothers your digestion or that you don't like?
Spicy things, which you're not gonna probably put in my meal plan anyway.
Yeah.
I definitely don't like sweet potatoes. I don't really like potatoes in general.
Okay.
I don't really like. Oh, I don't eat red meat.
Okay.
I don't
take
love.
supplement?
Do I take what?
An iron supplement?
I don't. I probably should.
Yeah. Just because as someone who was formerly anemic, and ate some red meat, I ate some bread. Usually those foods are higher in iron, like grainy. I don't think it's Justin's, but it's the good seed bread.
Oh yeah.
Like they make like the mini loaf, and then they make like the fat loaf. They have a good amount of iron in there, and we would just probably want to supplement with an iron supplement.
Okay.
Just because if we're not eating red meat, we would just have to look for some other sources. So we would supplement with it, and then we would use other micronutrient dense like vegetables, and the toast is great. We could do that for sure. Any vegetables that you don't really like? Because those, I mean, it's not like your meal plan is going to have this specific vegetable, you know.
Right. Probably like carrots.
Okay. Yeah, usually I won't do a lot of carrots or peas because those have some sugar in them, and I want you to have vegetables more so for the fiber and the digestion pros that they come with. And I know like some people have issues with Brussels sprouts or broccoli or Like,
oh, yeah, I don't really like Brussels very much. I love green beans, zucchini. I eat a lot of mushrooms.
Okay.
Spinach, arugula, all those greens are good.
Awesome. Any nut allergies or dairy allergies or anything?
No, I don't really like drinking milk. I use like cashew milk, but I like Greek yogurt and things like that.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to be drinking much milk, I promise. Yeah, no. What kind of, are you taking any kind of like fat burners or pre-workouts? Like what's kind of supplements?
So I hadn't been taking any pre-workout. My friend gave me Ghost pre-workout as a present, and I've been using that on the days I work out at 5 because I'm tired.
Yeah,
so that one has like 250 milligrams of caffeine. I usually do about half to 3/4 of a scoop. And then I usually have about a cup of coffee a day, too.
Okay. So you're having pre-workout plus a cup of coffee. That's not bad.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, as long as it's like less than 300.
Yeah.
Like if you're not like close to a show or anything, you shouldn't be consuming over that amount, I believe.
Yeah.
And
it's more for the taste and the placebo than it is probably for the energy. I'm pretty energized except for the like super early workout.
Okay, gotcha. So training. Now, do you have a specific split that you follow? Do you change up your workouts? How do you train?
Yeah. So it's been, I keep telling myself to like write down a freaking split. But I've been doing push-pull legs with just changing up the accessories, pretty much doing like pretty much the same compounds at the start and then doing different like accessory stuff afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
My friend, who I mentioned before, is prepping right now for a show, and she has a very odd split, but we do like to train together, so sometimes I'll train with her, but she's got some weird combos of like glutes and bis, and then like tries and calves, and I'm like, okay.
I mean, if it works for her, it works for her. That's great. Yeah. But okay, yeah, I do the push-pull legs stuff. I love it.
That's my favorite. I've always gone back to that. I tried like a bro split. It was fine. It was just, I don't know. I like that 3, and then it's like you can keep repeating it. Broken up.
Exactly. So you'll do push-pull legs, rest, repeat.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. And then what are your rep ranges like right now?
For compounds, usually 8 to 10. Accessories, 12 to 20. Really rarely 20, though. I don't really love to do super.
You train pretty low volume.
Yeah,
like you're not outputting a ton of reps, a ton of volume. Okay.
No, pretty heavy, though. I try to go pretty heavy.
Good, yes. Yeah, so that's what I would want to get the most out of is, I mean, it's good to know that you do train like that already because I trained a lot of volume and I had more of like a Monday legs, Tuesday back, like that kind of split. And then when I started working with Matt, and it was working before, everything was great. And then when I started working with Matt and he introduced me to the push-pull leg split and lower volume training and training a little bit heavier, not that I wasn't before, but just a different mode of intensity. Yeah. I made it a ton of progress and noticed a ton of new tissue added in just a few months. Like, honestly, like I know it's kind of ridiculous to think you can put muscle on in a short amount of time, but changing my training and utilizing that split, I learned a lot from. And that's something I want to encourage people like you who want to build muscle, girls who are pretty advanced in the gym and know what they're doing, who, I mean, I think there's too many girls just trying to grow with volume, and I don't think volume is the answer to muscle growth. It might be the answer to a great pump, but you're not really going to break down much tissue unless you're really, pushing all that you can for that shorter rep range, I think, is super important. So I'll probably introduce you to, you'll have your push-pull leg split as well as different styles or like options of training, even though they're not options, so I don't want to call them options. I'll just call it styles when I explain it. But so you'll have a style 1, a style 2, and a style 3 for each movement. And I'll lay out the workout and then the style it's performed. So let's say, for example, like hamstring curl style 1, leg extension style 2. And below that, I'll have what the style means. So it'll be kind of like a menu, if that makes sense. Like,
I like it. Yeah.
So you'll perform one exercise with this this style of rep range and this style of execution. For example, maybe like warming up to sets of 15, and then maybe the next style is going to be, do you know what a rest pause set is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so maybe something like that for the next one, and then the third would be just maybe one warm-up set and then straight into your working set. And then take your working set, decrease that top set a bit, and then take that last one to failure. So like very intense, very very focused on power and intensity, not so much volume. And of course, if we find that recovery is an issue and we're fatigued, we might do like I don't want to call it a deload week, but we would just not push so much the sets. We would just focus on cranking out those top sets. So you would do your warm-up set, your top set, move on. So literally like 2 sets. So that's something I actually had experience with this past week, and I noticed it helped a ton. Just like from the move and from, you know, that time of the month, and then like fatigued, less is more sometimes. So I want to know in your check-ins how you're doing recovery-wise. I want to know about your appetite. I want to know about, I want to see videos of your training too. That's going to be really important for me to see. That's the most important thing, because even when Matt comes down to Florida and he can actually see how I train, that's when he tells what adjustments to make. Is through my training mostly, and through my performance. So when we can get performance in the most optimal place, that's when we're making the most progress. So that's something I want to focus the most on, and because you'll be in a surplus of food and you'll be eating really well and be really fueled, I think that's not necessarily going to be an issue for you as if you were dieting on the other hand, for example. So your check-ins are going to be very detailed and in-depth, and I want to see, just like at the end of the week with your check-ins, just send me videos of your top sets of different movements each week, or if there's anything you have questions about, or if you're doing it right, or if something feels funny. You know, I want to see it and I want to help you and maybe fix it. Let's see. Have you ever had a coach before?
Yeah, I worked with Alex in 2016.
Okay.
Worked with him for a few months, and then kind of just took that and have trained with myself and my community since then.
Cool. Okay. So, what are you looking for the most out of this challenge, out of working with Camp Jansen, out of working with me? Like, what you want to get out of this? Like, what is your main goal to take away from this? What are your hopes and expectations?
So I think that at this point in my training, I have a good idea of what I'm doing, but I've always followed you and I followed Matt, and I've learned so much from just seeing what you guys post on Instagram and social media. But I'm hoping to learn, more about how to take my training to the next level, how to best put on tissue, how to be more intentional with my diet, my nutrition, my training, everything. I said diet and nutrition. It's the same thing. But
some people diet and the nutrition is crap, so you can say both.
That's a good point. So I think learning a lot from you guys, having somebody to be accountable to. I tell myself, like, Lucia, sit down and write a training split, follow it, stop being so la at the gym, because you're not going to make progress that way. But just having somebody to be accountable to, I think will really help me. And taking check-in photos, which, seems simple, but like having somebody that you have to actually send them to like realize that you're actually making progress is really helpful for me. So I think that will be.
Yeah, you're calling yourself out every week, really.
Exactly. So, yeah, you're like, oh, you had a terrible week.
Yeah. Like, was I true to myself and what I want for myself? Did I stick to my word and follow through with my goals and my intentions? You know, like, where did I fall short this week? It's a good check-in for yourself as much as it is for me to see. Like, it's a good reality check, and it takes you to, okay, so this is where I hit the mark, this is where I missed the mark, this is what I have to improve. So even without a show, like checking in with someone, that's why I like having lifestyle clients too sometimes, because people who are like you, self-motivated and serious and goal-oriented, they don't need a competition to be able to stay accountable. And when they check in, they take that check-in as a moment of self-reflection and say, okay, well, this is where I still need to improve. And they take it seriously. And that's also the hard part about choosing someone for this challenge who wasn't someone with any like contest experience, because a lot of times, like lifestyle, I say, but I mean, I assume you'll be a competitor in the future and that you'll do awesome, but they aren't as serious. They aren't as accountable. They don't hold themselves as accountable. But I'm really excited to work with you just for that reason, that you do seem very self-motivated and you love all this for what it is without bodybuilding. Without competing. So I'm really happy to, it makes me happy to like see and kind of feel your passion for it all, without having any experience on a stage. So that's really awesome and refreshing to see, because I think too many people think that that the joy and the happiness and the fulfillment comes from the stage, when, you know, you're living proof that it doesn't. You know what I mean? You still enjoy this journey and love what you're doing without needing to, you know, do show after show after show. There's bodybuilding. You don't have to get on stage to love it. So I'm really, really excited to work with you for that reason, most of all. And I think you have a lot of potential. I think if you wanted to step on stage, you would go really far. And if you don't, that's cool too. Let's see, was there anything else I wanted to ask you?
I think one other thing that I wanted to mention that I'm really excited about is that I had trouble getting myself to be in a consistent surplus. So I think having somebody else to be accountable to that and remind me yo, you're building muscle. This is how you do it. Because I can tell anybody else, this is how you build muscle. And then for my own self to see the number on the scale go up or see my physique changing, even if I know logically you're putting on muscle, it's still, it's a mind fuck kind of.
Yeah. Is that what would prevent you from continuing with the surplus, is seeing your physique change and seeing your...
I don't think it would stop me necessarily, but I think that it's helpful to have somebody to say,
keep going.
Your goal. Keep going. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely gotten hard for me. For example, this is the conversation I had with Matt. He was like, if you were, let's say, a 6-week challenge winner with me, for example, when I first took you on as a client, after those 6 weeks, you probably would have left me and not hired me. Because what happened was I went from being nearly ready to get on stage earlier this year before the shows were canceled. And then I started working with Matt, and he was like, we need to stop dieting so we can get healthy and we can put on some more muscle and get in an optimal place to do shows maybe later on if they happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I gained 15 pounds right back just because my body, wasn't in the most optimal place to be able to handle that food metabolically. And I probably wouldn't have been, a lasting client had I been given a free coach challenge opportunity. And I wouldn't have converted to a client if I was someone who wasn't, focused on the end goal and knew what was the bigger picture. Because I knew the value of the current plan, even though it might not have been what I wanted, I would have preferred to stay lean. Sure, I would have preferred to do a show sooner. Yeah, but he knew that was what was better for me in the long run. I knew that was better for me in the long run. So it was nice to have him remind me that, you know what you're in this for in the future, in the long run. You know that this is going to count later on. You're going to wish you would have been in a surplus still building that muscle. So whenever you get discouraged, or not so much discouraged, but just, when you question or doubt yourself in your current state, if you're not where you want to be right now, think of where you will be, how you kept going, and how you kept, pushing past that feeling of being uncomfortable, or rather looking some way else and stuff. So just, I think because I can kind of relate to you in that sense, I'll be a good accountability partner for you to have there. But just know that those moments and those months really where you are spending time in a surplus and building tissue and, taking the time to build a quality physique are going to make the reason why you're standing in the middle of the stage against the girls who are in the outside of you, because you put in the time when they wouldn't to build the muscle. And because that's almost everyone's biggest mistake, is not taking the time to build muscle for their first contest. So doing that now, honestly, and having that goal next year is really smart of you. Like even if you said, end of the year I want to compete, I think that's too soon. So I think it's really smart of you to do that, and I think this is the perfect time to just stick it out and grow and do as much as we can with as much food as we can, and as with all the resources in the gyms that we have. And your gym is open, correct?
Yeah, it's open as of right now. Thank God. Please don't close again.
Well, that's nice. But
are you in Florida?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Yeah, that's good. They'll stay
Where
open.
are you?
I'm in Oregon.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they stay open. As of right now, it looks like they should, and I have a couple of backup gyms just in case, but it was so miserable when they all closed. I was so upset.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was a tough time. What a year. Holy crap. But
oh my God.
2020. Do you have any questions for me?
Not right now, I don't. I think I need to see the style thing in writing with the training. How you were saying that there's 3 different styles. Am I going to see
it in writing for sure?
Yeah. Will I be switching like what I'm choosing to do each workout, or?
No, you're not. It's going to be the same consistent workout. It's going to be the same thing. It's not going to be an option. It'll be just a style. So you'll be, if you need to modify things, of course, like whatever. But I would prefer like consistency in the gym just as much as consistency in the diet, for the same reasons I mentioned. Like your diet necessarily, like it's how did Matt explain it really well the other day? He was like, if you want to practice throwing a football, you're going to throw that football day after day after day. You're not going to change the way you throw the football to throw the football better. You're going to throw the football the same way.
Yeah.
Eventually, you're going to perfect throwing the football. Mm-hmm. So, it's just consistency among all the variables that control that outcome that you want in the end. So that's why I'm such a fan of, I said I like the flexible dieting for the learning and the knowledge aspect from a start point, but that's why I'm such a fan of the meal planning with the meal timing. Most of all, the reason why I like the meal plan is for the meal timing and not having to think or plug in anything.
Yeah,
I just think it's so more simple, especially since you do have a busy schedule and you are on your feet and working long hours when you do work. I think it'll honestly make it a little bit easier for you, not having to worry about plugging things in or counting things. If we were doing macros, like you can just put your food in a Tupperware and leave. The less thought, I think, the better. And it alleviates, option A, option B, option C. The only option is the option.
Yeah, I'm definitely somebody who can just be like, okay, this is my protocol. I'm going to follow it.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Well, they're awesome. That's great. That's, such a relief to me.
You're like, oh God, who is this lady?
Most people, some people it's just hard for them to stick to. But, like I said, you seem very self-motivated, and I'm really excited. So on the 11th is when I will officially send everything over to you, including the training, the diet. I'll send supplement recommendations to you, of course. We're not doing any red meat. Do you eat fish? I want to ask you if you eat fish.
I do. And I have a lot of salmon in my freezer. My roommate fishes in Alaska, so I have a lot of salmon.
That's an awesome hookup.
I know. I'm like, sure, bring it all.
Yeah, awesome, cool. So, okay, we'll be eating salmon. That's great.
Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I'll send you over everything then. I'm really, really happy that we got to talk.
I'm so excited.
I would like to do this. I want to ask Matt if he wants us to do it anymore, but at least like once every other week or something, just to touch base and just to see how things are going. So after we do our check-ins, maybe we can schedule something like that for another evening. We'll touch base, but again, I will send you everything on the 11th. If you have any questions or need to message me about anything, even whatever you're doing now, I'm more than happy to help. It's not like you can't use me as a resource until that day. I'm here for you now. So, I'd love to help you out as much as I can. So you have my number on WhatsApp. Just message me whenever. I work during the day on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Friday, Saturday. Mm-hmm. But I usually have my phone on me. So,
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. I hope you have an awesome rest of your day, and I will hear from you soon. We'll be in touch.
Awesome. I do have one more question. Yeah. Out of curiosity, do you guys, are the other people that you're doing this with, are they competitors?
I have a former competitor, like an ex-competitor.
Nice.
And then I have someone who is also considering doing a show.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah, we didn't want to take on any people who are like trying to use us for a free contest prep.
That would be a lot. That's intense.
And honestly, too, like, it's going to take me, and if I want someone to do really well on stage, I'm going to need to know them and their body for more than 4 months.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you have to know exactly how they're going to respond to what protocols you give them.
Yeah. Yeah, so not today. Well, no contest prep clients for free.
Well, happy unpacking. I hope that it goes super smoothly.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I can't wait to see everything on October 11th.
Me too. I'm excited. I'll let you know if I have any questions for you. I'll message you, and again,
absolutely.
Feel free to reach out to me. But I will hear from you soon. We'll be in touch. Okay.
Awesome. Bye.
Bye.